Hello, happy Mondays with Mark on Wednesdays. Sometimes it's Tuesday, sometimes it's Wednesday, sometimes it's actually Monday. I am here at Green Bay Botanical Garden. Want to talk to you a little bit about insects. Since it is so ungodly hot out here, the insects are really starting to mature fast. They love this hot weather. It seems like more growth degree days. The insects are growing and emerging. So I want to show you one of our friendly ones that you guys probably know and hate. The Japanese beetle. Eats on over 300 different ornamentals. And you can see here they do love rose flowers. For some reason they seem to like the light colored roses we've noticed here at Green Bay Botanical Garden. They also like canna flowers and a whole bunch of other things. Linden trees, you'll often see them in there. So one of the methods that we like to do here at Green Bay Botanical Garden is go around and knock them into soapy water. We use a little ice cream pail with some Dawn detergent, and we try to just like kind of knock the clump off into there, and then they will have a clean death, we like to call it. The other thing we've done in the past, which is kind of fun, but I'm not sure how effective, is take a blowtorch to them. So that's like a really crazy death. The thing to check out is the UW Extension has some really good information on Japanese beetle control, and you can do like a curative where you can use an insecticide on them, or the better thing I think to do is a preventative that you put in the turf grass, because actually they preferentially lay their eggs in irrigated turf grass. So now the adults are out, they're mating, you can see, so they'll start laying their eggs. So there's products you can use. It would have been good to put it down a little bit earlier. The thing we used to the most effect probably was a chemical called a celloprene, because that is very benign to humans and other things. And it was put on the soil and then it watered in, and it had like a 120-day active life, which was longer than a lot of the other things you can find. But check out that UW Extension guidance on how to control Japanese beetles. And like I said, one of our favorite methods is just to go around and literally knock them into soapy water. The other thing I wanted to share with you is, remember back in a different Mondays with Mark, we talked about the viburnum leaf beetle, and that had the caterpillar feeding on the foliage of the arrowwood viburnum and the highbush cranberry viburnum. Well, this is the adult beetle of that larvae. So we do unfortunately have the viburnum leaf beetle, and this is the first documented case in Brown County. So if you all notice damage on your viburnums, especially those natives, arrowwood and highbush cranberry, see if you see these beetles on there, and if you do, call the UW Extension, take a sample so they can verify how widespread this is in Brown County. And if you go on their website, and the Extension, again, UW Extension, they have information on how to control this. It is a challenge, and it's something kind of like, I think, the emerald ash borer, where it's like a long-term thing, and it's probably going to be something that will be really hard for us to control, unfortunately. So we're going to try to see what we can do here at the garden, at least to buy ourselves some time to possibly replace those. Unfortunately, they're a nice native plant with a lot of habitat value, and now we're going to have to probably change them all over.
Mark, would you recommend anytime someone sees a bug they don't recognize or anything like that, to check out UW Extension to see if they can find out if it's invasive or not?
Yeah, if you see damage or you see a bug, before you just go crazy and want to spray it with all kinds of chemicals, make sure you identify what the heck it actually is, because it could be a really good bug. Like I think I mentioned how one time we had a caterpillar and it was actually a native caterpillar of a native butterfly. So yeah, the UW Extension is a great resource. I think the entomology department at UW-Madison had a really cool part where you could search pictures of insects, and that way when I worked at the Extension I used that a ton. And if worse comes to worse, you can send a picture of it into the UW Extension in your county or to the guy at Madison. Oftentimes they'll even take a look and help you identify. But I'd start with your Extension, because they probably know the most common pests, and then if they can't figure it out, they can forward it on to Madison for you. And sometimes you can just Google, green and brown shiny bug on this particular kind of plant, and search the images, and you'll find it that way too. So I mean, with Google, it's amazing. Just think of all the work we had to do before, and now Google, we just check it out. Other thing I wanted to mention is, I have this oak leaf here, and you can see there is some feeding damage on there. But remember, the thing we were talking about is, just because your plant is being eaten doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Remember the 12-step program, step back 12 steps, you won't see the damage, it's all good. I mean, this is probably some kind of native caterpillar eating on there, because we know that oak trees support 300 to 500 different kinds of caterpillars and different larvae of moths and things like that, and caterpillars from butterflies and other things. So just because you have feeding damage doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Always think about that first, and then, like you said, make sure you identify whatever you see as the actual insect itself, and then use that to figure out what you can do. And sometimes, there's just some on there, and the other natural beneficial insects and predators will take care of it for you. So there's I think a threshold level that you should be able to learn to live with. Thinking about living with a certain amount of damage, making sure you know what it is that you have, and then controlling them in the most effective and also least ecologically harmful manner. So those are some tips. If you're looking for more information, check out our Facebook page. Go to www.gbg.org, and happy gardening. Stay cool out there.